Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. So in today's video is an update on my adventures when I attended the Fleur Woods workshop that was in Brisbane. So I live 4 hours away from Brisbane now, so it was quite an adventure to head back. I was able luckily to stay at our house, which is on the market, and sort of bunker down for the week and get ready for a 3-day course with Fleur Woods. So I've got here with me everything from the course and then some other additional things that I picked up in my travels, and then some an order that arrived while I was away, and something a little bit left of field to show you at the end, which is just so inspirational. Anyway, let's start at the beginning. So the lovely Fleur Woods came to Brisbane. Yay, I was just so excited. Now I've completed the online course at the end of last year. She runs her online course twice a year, and there's an intake at the beginning of the year and an intake at the end of the year. If you haven't done it yet, I'd highly, highly recommend it. The course is real technically driven in the way that you really drill into all of the processes that Fleur uses, and it's like you're sitting there with her across the table, and she's walking you through different steps of analyzing flowers through to painting techniques of fabric, and then getting down into the stitch. So I was so pleased I had completed that first, because then what that allowed me to do was settle straight into stitching, and it's like I had my head around the Fleur style, and then to have Fleur there to add the next level of detail was just amazing. And to see her pieces up close and personal, and to be able to ask questions. How would you deal with this situation? What would you do here? It was like going to a masterclass. So yeah, if you can just get your hands on the online course, do it, especially for those who may not bump into Fleur, because the world is so big and there's only one Fleur. She is the most generous, most gentle, gorgeous lady. Oh, wow. It's not often you come across people that are genuinely generous, and I don't know what to say. For those of you who know Fleur, you'll know what I'm talking about. But as you see her on little interviews or articles, and if you've been able to secure her book, just when you start reading the text through the book, because she wrote this, and you'll really get a feel of where her creativity comes from. And yeah, she's clever girl. Okay, so the book is available. If you can't get your hands onto a course in any way, there is so much in here. I'm still working through the book, and I sort of don't want to rush it. I want to pick it up every couple months and just read another little section and then leave it at that. Otherwise, it's just too much. Okay, let's stop yibby-yabbering. So when we got there, we were given a piece of blanket, and it was quite large. Now, if I learned anything from the online course, that the project is massive in the way. Hang on one moment. This is the piece, just to refresh your memory, that I completed on the online course. So you put it into the frame and you go for it. And this took months and months and months. So due to my high workload, making lots of other projects, I was thinking about it on the way back to Brisbane, and I thought, I wonder if I could just break it down into that. So when I got there, it was a similar sized platform, so to speak, about 30 centimetres by 30 centimetres. And I thought, no, I'm going to just give myself a bit of a break. So I decided to cut it into quarters, and this is the first quarter, so you can sort of see. And I have a feeling, it's a mess, I haven't opened it since I got back. I have a feeling it's because of the hat box that those colors were on my mind. And then on a side table was fabric that we could grab as our pieces to lay down. And I just want to grab the fabric as I've got another piece of it here. So we went to a table and picked floral elements that just resonated with us. And I was really drawn to this. That was the kick-off. It's the hat box colour scheme. Like, it's just, I don't know, it just felt like it was my piece. And I liked the idea that it was going to give me something completely different from doing that and then jumping into that. So, and I must say, when I did this piece, I felt like many times colours were conflicting with each other. They came together in the end, but there was times where I'd do some work and go, oh, that's just so different to that. But I think that was me also sort of getting comfortable with Fleur's style and placement, but I still feel like that piece is a little bit disjointed. So when I saw this, it really resonated with me. So this was the scrap I chose. Now, before I put this away, see this big flower here? He was just the first thing. I think there's 3 or 4 ladies. Hello, ladies, you gorgeous ladies, that were drawn to this big flower. So many cut him out, popped him on the piece, and then went from there. When I picked up this piece of fabric, I found a flower that someone else had cut out in the pile of scrappy fabrics, and it was just that. You couldn't see those bottom petals. So that's the flower I chose. Now, what happened was I started to think that there was not enough of that flower to really, you know, I guess, explore. So I'm just going to tidy up as I go here to get to the pieces. What am I trying to say? So yeah, there was like a half flower, which artistically looked cool, but I don't know, I sort of started to think, oh, I really want to do the big flower. So I kept grabbing this big flower and popping it on my piece. But because I had cut down to a quarter, 4 smaller pieces of the bigger project, it just didn't fit. It was the whole flower. So I decided, I don't know, I think by about 2 o'clock that afternoon, that I was going to readjust my piece. So I ended up covering the little half flower, and that's when Fleur said, look, take some fabric, extra pieces. I don't want to have to take it back on my flight home. It's just go, please take it, take it. So I went and picked up this piece. So I've got my big guys, which I'm going to do another day. Don't know when, but they are going to be something another time. And that gave me the confidence that I could cover, I think it must have been this flower. And I just felt like that could become a bit messy and I wouldn't see that it was like a half flower. Does that make sense? So I covered it. So now I'll show you. And I felt confident I could do that because I had this piece for the future. Oh, some of the ladies bought extra bits as well. There was some upholstery fabric. One of the girls' daughters works in the industry and gets samples. I'll show you those in a moment. This scarf came along. There was some lace. Everyone was so generous. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? You'll see that pop up somewhere. These are little scrappy bits that I still haven't found a home for on my piece. May or may not. Don't know if I need them yet. So this is my piece. So where the doily is where that half flower was. So if I bring it up to the camera, just hold it there. So that was the first big decision, to get rid of the half flower, because I now had the full flower and I'll do that one day. And as you could see, the size just for me was so much better, and I really worked hard. We did the course through the day and then I drove straight home, made some dinner, sat on the couch, and I stitched to midnight most nights. One night I got to 1 a.m. slept for a few hours, got up, stitched again in the morning. I just threw myself into it because I was determined to, I guess, get a good chunk of it, because I knew once I got home and started looking at all my other projects, it had the potential of being pushed to one side. And I really like to finish things. And when you've got 5 projects on the go, you know, something's got to give. So making it small was, yeah, the solution for me. So I'll bring it up even closer. I'll tell you my biggest challenges. My goodness. These little flowers here. Now on the fabric, it's those guys. Okay. They were such a challenge. I had put a mustard colour in the centre of them, which didn't look right. I then chocolate outlined the outside like you see it. Then chocolate outlined the mustard, and they became really hard, and they were like pushing forward past all of this. So day 2, I think I decided to go to my friend's place and sit on her couch and have her cook me dinner. And I said to Marianne, I said, just these flowers, what do you think? She goes, oh, I don't know. And that was enough. So out come the scissors. These came with the kit that Fleur gave us. These are amazing. I've seen Ann Woods use them on her channel. Wow. Absolutely wow. I haven't had time to research where you could go to get these. I don't know the brand. So, gosh, I wish I had some more information for you. If anyone recognises the brand, pop it in the comments. These are amazing. Not only are they generous on your hands, this point is so sharp. Oh gosh. So here comes a side story. I'm sitting on the couch at Marianne's and I was whizzing this point around the mustard that was in the center of these flowers and just snipping it out and pulling it out. It was hours of work. Then I went around and got the layer of chocolate outline stitching there. And in the process, I slipped and these scissors went straight into my thumb. Oh my goodness, talk about, oh, it went in deep. So they are very, very sharp. They're fantastic for that, you know, get in there and dig out a stitch. Highly, highly recommend them, but, you know, be careful. So they're my new favourite scissors. What else was a challenge here? Everything else sort of fell into position. I don't think my rose looks like a rose anymore, but that's okay because Fleur's flowers are very, if you want to paint a tulip, we'll go do a tulip. But then a tulip could be so much more. It's the form that just gets you going, gets you started. So I'm still very happy with my flower because it sort of is a, I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit more artistic than the classic up here. So I've still got those guys there to do and a little bit of space through here. I'm not a fan of this. This is part of a little stitchery that was over there. And as the work progressed, I cut that off. There was something else I cut off too. Oh, I had this sitting somewhere. It might still go in, I'm not sure. I've got a problem with the yarn. That yarn is part of this collection, but it's darker. And there was only a few skeins and I'd used, I think, 4 skeins just to do this. So I've technically run out of yarn and this is just not the right colour. I think the second evening I picked up this guy and started working it, and in here you can see those few stitches there? There's like a little row. That is the different yarn, and it just, let me bring it up there, it just doesn't work. Whether it could be snuck in up here and I get a little lighter, but I'm pretty much down to whatever resources I have. Now, luckily, I have a little bit of gum nut, which I did take, and I have worked some of these through. So I will need to finish my piece off with whatever I can scrounge to sort of get me there. I'm just looking at my piece here. See, I use this gum nut yarn on this one. I just spotted that, which must be somewhere. I don't think it's that one. So that there is very close. So I need to go hunting through my stash. I'd be pretty confident that I have, you know, something that can get me to the finish line. So that's my piece. The last day I started embroidering over things. Got my Jennifer on. A little bit of Jennifer started to creep in. And I sort of like that because it's quite a blocky, chunky piece. And then when you start coming back over your piece with embroidery, it softens, really softens things. I've got some beads that have popped up down the corner here. I'm just thinking about them still. Whether I work some in elsewhere, I don't know yet. I don't know. So I'll turn it over. So yeah, you can see, gosh, that's 3 days solid plus 3 evenings solid. So I'm really pleased I did a small piece. So what I'm going to do is just pack this up. I'll take these yarns out of there. They're not, I'll leave one. They're not going to go into it, I do not believe. I'll leave these little scraps. It says this is kicking around, that caught my eye, but it sort of feels like it competes with this. That's definitely out. And then there's still a couple little elements of the actual fabric. This was the center of that doily. So maybe I did have a bit of a sit and chat with Fleur at the end of the session. She did it with everyone where we talked about where our piece is heading. So I've got a bit of a plan, which was lovely. It was, yeah, really good just to have that last bit of time with Fleur and say, okay, where are we at? Where are we heading? So that was really good. I hope I remember all of those tips and details. So I'll leave it at that. Pop that into, that just felt like it was, the one day I'd filled this whole corner here with gold beads. And then when I got home in a different light, I was like, ooh, they just look wrong. So they were more like the handle, or not as bad. But I ended up cutting them all out and putting just the cream, and it's champagne. And then the next day this piece arrived and I was like, yeah, that's the gold. So after I finished my first day, I went to Woolworths. I needed some nappy sand. That's to, if you don't know what nappy sand is, it helps clean stains out of fabrics. And I'd run out and I'd picked up some doilies at a thrift store on the way through. So I knew I needed some nappy sand when I got back to home. And I got these cases at Woolworths as well, which is great because there's my project, nice and thin, grab and go. So moving on to, remember I said there was a big piece and I cut it in 4 and the blue is 1. Well, these are the others. So in the process of piecing imagery in and deciding which piece that I was actually going to make, I've got another 3 here that I didn't stitch. They will be a 1 day. So these are Fleur's dyed yarns. Aren't they just beautiful? Hand dyed merino silk yarn. It's just, oh. So color palette wise, I think you get the general gist. This one feels very Fleur to me. The pinks, the reds, the turquoises, and a few little threads, and then some inspiration. And this is what I pieced together for this one. So I got a nice big flower, got a little bit of applique fabric there, some little flowers. Someone before me had sketched that. That wasn't me. So I thought that was a bit special. Someone had had an idea. And I thought, oh, well, I could work with that. So that one there is a future project. Got a couple more little elements here that I think will find their way in. And then a little bit of dyed fabric. So that's project number 2. Gosh, it'll be years before I get cracking on these, let me tell you. But I love it. These are my projects. You know, when you've got something special for you, especially if you've been making a heap of things for others or a heap of things for a market stall or your Etsy store, and then sometimes you just need a you project. Fleur's my you project. So this is project number 3. There's the colour scheme. Aren't they just vibrant and luscious, and oh, can't wait to work them. And then some threads, and then the piece, all I found that sort of resonated with me was this beautiful iris. So I sort of started thinking along the lines of a gorgeous iris, and then it fans out to other colours, and so another project tucked away in the cupboard. So if I go on a holiday, I could take a Fleur project with me. You can just see me sitting there on a cruise ship on the high seas, absorbing my Fleur project, stitching away. Oh, got no cruises booked. Been too busy moving house. I don't have time for such things. Maybe 2026. I don't know. Okay, and this is the final one. It was just so fun to put together the palette. Is that beautiful? You might be thinking, gee, that's a lot of yarn, but you use a lot of yarn. But you don't have to, I guess. You could spread your stitches out and be a little bit looser. But yeah, so we were talking to Fleur about making larger hanks of her yarns, and they're going to be doing that. So yeah, I think I'll be investing in some bigger skeins because my little pieces are so small, and like, look how much I chewed through. So that was the pieces that caught my eye for this one. Aren't they so pretty? Aren't they so different? So there you go. There's my future Fleurs. 2030, 32, 36. Oh my goodness. But they are ready to rock and roll. I've got them all pieced. I don't have to think. And I do need to get this one finished before I advance any further. So there you go. All right, so that's the Fleur course. Now, a couple other things to show you. It's shocking English today. I'm pretty weary, actually. I've left my iPad too in Brisbane. I put it beside the seat because there was a chance that someone could view the house. So I had to literally display the bed sheets and pillows and then vacuum up all my threads and clean up the kitchen. And I hid my iPad between the 2 couches. So at a glance, no one would ever see it sitting there. So I've got back to Burrum this morning and I wanted to film, and there's no iPad, and I've realised it's still in Brisbane. And the chances of getting it back is probably in 10 days' time. So I've got my phone suspended by 2 pieces of rope there in the air off the iPad holder. It works. So there was a moment of sheer panic, but it works. Now I'm showing you these beads. These aren't the beads I'm talking about, but they look like this container. So girls in Australia, Kmart is selling glass seed beads. They are way smaller than these for $6. I bought these from Spotlight probably about 6 months ago, and these were $16. So I just thought I'd mention it. I'm going to try and get into Hervey Bay today and get some, because they were beautiful range of colours. It's not these, so please don't think I'm showing you the actual pack. I haven't bought it yet, but they reminded me of these. Fleur had found them when she was, I think, at Byron Bay or in her travels, and she brought them along, and we were like, oh, look at those colours. Where'd you get them? So I just thought I'd mention it to the Aussie girls. Kmart, $6. I'm off to investigate that further. So what have I got here? First of all, let's show you some of the goodies I got from Fleur's pile of fabrics. I got that piece and that little guy and that. So future piece, like look at olives, blues and olives. I don't know, sometimes you can head off in your own direction and that's fine. But sometimes fabric is just so beautiful, and there's an artist there before you that has put their life story into this piece, and I really enjoy just doing what is here. Maybe a slight twist, put a bit of Corinne in there, a bit of this, a bit of that. But yeah, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If your piece of fabric that you're stitching or thread painting into is stunning, just go for it. Enjoy it. You've picked it up for a reason. Anyway. I'm on my high horse now. These fabrics were on the table, and it was Fleur was like, go for it, just take what you want. That one's part of normal fabric. These are ones that she had done in dyeings of fabrics in other courses, because she runs a few different courses. And I thought, oh yes. So we all took our scissors and we all took little bits. Aren't they just gorgeous? I wouldn't rush out and dye purple fabric. So when I saw it, I thought, you know, you never know. Maybe Corinne will feel like a bit of purple and do a lavender stitched piece. And then these ones. A lot of the girls use these in their pieces. And Fleur's example that she was sort of showing us techniques and discussing elements was based on one of these pieces of beautiful linen. So lovely. I've got myself a small little stash of dyed fabrics. Okay, so showing you that. Op shop on the way to Brisbane. Picked up some more tatting. So it's had a nice clean. So that can go into my stash. You know, like 4 months ago I said, gee, I've run out of tatting. Where am I going to get tatting? I've been nibbling away at it for ages, and it's finally, well, you put the thought out and look what's come my way. I've got my tatting back to a full abundance, and just a couple little doilies that caught my eye. There was heaps there, and I thought, no, I don't need heaps. Look at that, isn't that pretty? And then this little guy, and these are the ones that I love cutting these elements out of, even that little guy. So for those of you who ask me, where do you get your crocheted doily morsels? This is where. So I just trim it out. And even this is gorgeous. These edges, it's just dried and it's gone a little bit crispy, but that's okay. Give it a bit of a mold, and you've got shapes. So if you've been around my table with me for some time, you'll know this is right up my alley. So I was pretty pleased to pick up these bits and bobs. So a little bit for the stash. Didn't find much else. I'm on the hunt for a wool blanket now. So you go, put the thought out and a wool blanket will come my way. Actually, Susanna, didn't someone give us a wool blanket when we were at Ballarat? They did. All right, Susanna, chop a chunk off, chuck it, and I left it behind because I was overfloweth. So poor old Susanna, all the things I couldn't fit in my suitcase. So Susanna Vintage Blend Studios is her channel. She's got to fit into her suitcase when she comes to visit in June. So oh my goodness, Susanna, chuck in that blanket or a bit of the blanket. She'll be like, oh, good on you, girl. So, as I said before, a number of the ladies brought along things and just threw them on the table for us all to take from. So, very, very generous. And this gorgeous lady, one of my YouTube followers, we had a lovely time, and her daughter is the one that has the access to all of these types of fabrics. So, this piece was pulled out and gifted to me. Isn't he gorgeous? Oh, I love the colours too. So going to need to come up with a project for him. And then I started rummaging and I found another rabbit. Then I found this fellow. I'm thinking he's a fox. Is he a fox? Foxy Loxy. And then a couple little swatches. Just interesting little pieces. Some more. So there was sort of whole colour tones. Oh, just beautiful. They're nice and sturdy too. Some stripes. Some more of those types of prints. Oh, I didn't realise I had a dude in there with a snail on his hand. Is that Adam? That's unusual. They were stuck together. Didn't realise I'd picked up a random dude. That sounds terrible. I did not pick up any random dudes with snails running along their arms. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh boy, oh boy. And some more stripes. You can never have enough stripes. Now I'll be like, did I pick up any other random dudes? Oh my goodness. There you go. So a few extra little morsels there that will go really well in a project one day. So last two things. Happy Mail was here when I got back. Now this is the Quilter's Angel. Just before I left, I spotted these on their Facebook site. If you don't follow them on Facebook, please do. They're just gorgeous, these girls. Mother and daughter team based in Toowoomba. Their Facebook site is fantastic. There's just constantly packages and new fabrics, and they sort of wash from brights through to French general. Like, they're a bit of everything, which is fantastic. It's very easy to click on some artwork that they post on Facebook, takes you straight to their website, and before you know it, you got a parcel. And these popped up. I thought, oh, must. There's their card. Yeah, the Quilter's Angel based in Toowoomba. Mother and daughter team. Oh, they're just great. So, look at these. I couldn't decide which one, so I got one of each. And there's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 4, 6. There's 6 of them. So I thought I'll show them to you. I checked a few minutes ago and they were still available. So if there's anything that catches your eye, Aussie ladies, I'm not sure if they send overseas. Oh, must ask that question. So $10 each, and they're just great for projects. Now, size-wise, do I have a tape measure? Sometimes it's hard to tell, isn't it, when you see these things on Facebook. I just jumped up to get a tape measure. Not Facebook, YouTube. So inches, 9 inches by 6 inches. So Aussie girls, 15 centimetres by 23 centimetres. So it's nearly an A4 page folded in half. Yeah, nearly, a little bit bigger. Okay, so let's show you what designs. There's one. Aren't they gorgeous? These will be great gifts. Put some bits in there for someone who's just starting out. What a great birthday or Christmas gift. That one there. Aren't they pretty? That one there. Pastel tones. My guess is they will start popping up at numerous quilt stores, unless the girls have had these made specially for them. Possibly, because there is no tag in here. Maybe it is an exclusive to the girls. Oh, I have to ask. Very clever. There's another one. They're like a canvasy fabric too, so they're really sturdy. Isn't that pretty? Look at this one. Oh, look at that. Where's my pincushion? Sidetracked. That there. Look. These girls know what they're doing. Very pretty. And then, whoops, the last one. So if there's anything that catches your eye, I think when you get to their website, they're numbered A, B, C, D. Website's really easy to navigate to. Like a lot of fabric stores have websites, but sometimes their websites are painful to get around. So now, off topic completely. In the week that I had down there, talk about the girl went to the big smoke. She went shopping. She bought things for the house. Like I got a runner for my craft room. That will sort of help absorb a bit of sound and also is good underfoot. Bought a couple fake plants. I've, some of my plants aren't loving this house. They were booming in the last place, but not so good here. So I have a feeling that where I want some greenery is just not going to happen. So I end up picking up some plants just to pop a bit of green around. What else did I do? Oh, the next thing I'll show you. Now, this is just blowing my world. So there was a gorgeous chickie babe sitting next to me at the craft table in Fleur's course, and she was wearing some pieces of clothing from this designer. Now the brand is Magnolia and Pearl. She's a designer from Texas, and oh, wow. It just, everyone was like, what is that? What are you wearing? Oh, it just was beautiful. So that evening I was on Google and I found, I think only 3 locations that actually stock the brand in Queensland. And one of them was on the Gold Coast, 4, one on the Gold Coast, one in the centre of Brisbane, one on the Sunshine Coast, all of which I wasn't really going near, or I was so exhausted, there was just no chance I was even going to get there. I thought, oh, well, one day. And then I realised there was one in a little country town on the way back to Barham, Yandina. And this store, just beautiful. I can't believe I don't have the name of it with me. Look, I'll put the details in the description. So Queensland girls, if you did want to go and at least have a look at the clothing, you'll see why in a minute. It's just inspirational. And it turned out she had a massive range of it, lots of back catalogue. It was just, I was in there 2 hours. Like my husband was like, I thought you'd be home at 2. And I got home at 4:30. So I had a very slow trip back and I went to, this shop. I'll just flip through this book. She was so generous. I bought a few pieces, like, don't get me wrong, they are up there in price. And I've definitely got a little bit of guilt. And I said to my husband, I don't know why I've got guilt over buying this clothing, which is just so inspiring, yet I don't even bat an eyelid when it comes to a pack of fabric. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, the lovely lady that owns the store gave me this book. And I thought, I am just going to flip through some of the pages and you girls are going to see really quickly why it falls into the slow stitch world that we are in and what we're doing with textiles and needle and thread. It's just so artistic. The models, I like, look at the hair, the wig. See the jeans, they've got patches on them, stitching on them. Look at the building. Oh my goodness. It's like eye candy. Look at all the linens. The old clothes, just These shoes. Isn't it divine? Look, Australian Shepherd, Blue Merle. Bandit, where are you? You're in a book. Oh my goodness. Look at that furniture. So, the girl went a little bit crazy. I tried on at least 20 pieces. Some of them were really out there and I couldn't do it. I put them back on the shelf. They're just a bit too, for me, I'm a little bit on the staid side, but I was determined to leave with something because the techniques that have gone into the clothing are just, yeah. You know, remember the Roxy challenge where we did something wearable and I did the denim jacket? That denim jacket, do you know how I toiled over that thing saying, will I ever wear it? I've got to wear it. Please control yourself, Corinne, as you put fabrics and stitches into this. Don't go overboard because you won't wear it. It'll be in the cover. The whole cycle of brain was going on. Well, I've worn that jacket like 6 times. I love it. So then when I saw all this brand of clothing, I was like, oh, I could potentially, oh, look at this. Look at all that. Imagine having a studio like this. Look at the big oven. This house is stunning. So, oh. Yeah, the jacket has taken me down a rabbit hole. I then found this and have added a few pieces to my rabbit hole collection that I don't think are too out there. Like when you get on their website, go and have a little explore. I think you'll think, wow, some of that's a bit out there. But I've filtered it and I've got some Corinne friendly pieces, if that is such a category. Like these are subdued. This is what I call subdued. I still probably wouldn't wear that outfit. I'd tone down the top and wear the pants, or I'd wear the pants, or I'd wear the top and tone down the pants with just some denim. Like I'd wear that with denim. I would wear the, maybe I wouldn't wear the pants. I think I'd put them on and go, oh, I just can't do it. And I'd take them off. Damn, I'm such a chicken. Gosh, I'd never wear that, but I love it. But it's not me. Isn't it clothes funny? Fabric is amazing. Oh, just incredible, but I probably wouldn't wear any of that. So, look, we can't be here. Oh, look at this. 1805. So these guys are in Texas. I think I might have mentioned that. Now, my husband really wants to go to the Texas Pinball Convention next year. And I was like, what can I do? What's in Texas? Maybe I need to do a bit of research. And this has come into my world. And the lady that owns the shop, she goes, you must, look at that. You must go to Texas and visit their studio. So when I got home, I said to my husband, you know that trip to Texas, to the Texas Pinball Convention? I'm thinking I might come along. And he was like stunned. He goes, seriously? And I said, yeah, but I'll disappear. I'm going to go off and do a few things. I'm going to go to this studio. Look at the socks. I would never wear that, but I can admire it. You're sick of looking at, look at that. Oh, I can't stop flipping through it. Just gorgeous. Maybe I'm going through a midlife crisis. Look at the goose, the swan. I think I'm having a midlife crisis. I think my textiles are taking over my life. Oh, okay. You got the general gist of the brand. Now, let me show you what I bought. I've just got to jump up and grab the coat hangers. So, first of all, just to recap, this is where my journey has gone. Remember, we made the jacket in the Roxy Creations wearable. So that's the piece. And I love it. And I'm wearing it. So yay, brave girl. Okay. So get that out of the way. So this is a pair of pants that I bought. Get that out of the way so we can see it. Look at that fabric. Look at the buttons. Look, 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 look. One size fits all, let me tell you. I could just about do with another button there. But I'm working on that. I'm trying very, very hard to restrain myself so I can at least get to that button comfortably. Look at the fabric. It is so soft. It's going to be beautiful to wear in my climate because it gets quite hot in Queensland. But look, look, girls. Look at this. Is this not our world? See, they put the fabric in reverse. There's the front, there's it flipped. So this is what I wasn't game to do to my jacket. Just take to it and rough it up. Look at all this stitching. See the hand stitching that's come through there and back to there. Then they've whip stitched around that patch, whip stitched here to expose that. They've flicked paint all over it. Let's have a look at the other side. So I would wear this with just a soft cream t-shirt, like nothing crazy. I do have a few cream lacy blouses that I think would work with it if I wanted to get a little bit more braver. Look at that fabric. I said to the lady in the shop, I could, if I chicken out and I don't wear them, I could cut them up and use this fabric for a million things. And she was horrified. She was horrified. She looked at me. I was like, okay. Like, you don't understand the world that I come from. Look at it. So that's my pants. Very, very, very cool. I love them. Now I got also a shirt. Now this is the country girl coming out on me meets country girl meets textile world. So the fabric base is a check, like it's so me. And then, oh my goodness, guys. First of all, I won't show you everything just yet. Look, there is vintage feed sack or Liberty, I don't know. Look at the pink stitching they've just popped around that collar. That little detail. And it's so lightweight, like it'll be beautiful to wear in summer. Then there's a piece of fabric coming down that side. And then there. Oh. And then there. Look at this little detail. Okay, pink around the sleeve. Little patch there. Oh my goodness. But you ain't seen nothing yet, guys. Let's go down the other side of the blouse or the shirt. See, beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my goodness. It's like a velvet in there. Oh. Love these colours. And then look at this. There's a floral element that's stitched on, and they've used their sewing machine to whiz around there. And look at this little piece down here from an old quilt, I would say. Could you imagine the job of foraging fabrics for this business? And it's like an extension on the bottom of the shirt. Oh my goodness. Now, let's flip it over and show you the back. There's more. So there's their label. There. Look what's on the back. Isn't that just... Oh, see, look. in here is some of the fabric that's down that button section. I wonder if this was a quilt and or if they've been that clever, they've put in that little insert. No, this was part of something else. Maybe they have been that clever. We're not going to unpick it. And look at this. A scrappy English paper piecing. Now we're talking. None of this stitching it all together business. Just stitch it down. Sort of like my bird, where it's a classic quilt piece. Where is he? But he's now messy. I think I could get messier. Let the frayed corners really come out. Oh, isn't it inspirational? Am I having a moment? I'm having a moment. And there's, what have they done there? It's like when you pull camphor. Oh, look at that, seriously. That's hand stitched on with big stitches. Oh, wow. You can see why I just had to try on like 20 pieces, because it was just beautiful. Beautiful. My husband couldn't get his head around that there was paint smeared on it. He goes, oh, have they spilt something on it? I'm like, no, that's part of it. His face. It was pretty funny. So there you go. Isn't that just delicious? As Fleur would say, that is just delicious. Oh my goodness. I could just cut that out and just, Anyway, so in that shop, I found this little top, this jacket. So what I thought, being that the girl is getting confident in her textile creations. Let me grab it, hang on. I found this. So the brand was Soul Sparrows. Not sure, don't know anything about them, but look at this gorgeous, gorgeous jacket. Now they've already roughed her up and they've put in the seam all of this fringed edge fabric of the same colour. So it's looking quite artistic already. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to have a play with another jacket. The girl is getting brave. And I'm going to be inspired by my slow stitch world. I'm going to be inspired by these guys, and I'm going to play more with quilted elements and try and get a little bit loose. And I'm going to embellish another jacket. So stay tuned. I'm not sure when the series will pop up, but it is on my radar as a future project. I'm going to have another try at making some wearable, just trying to grab my jacket, some wearable slow stitched art. So there you go. Now, I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. I might toddle off and get this video uploaded. I've got to try and remember how to do it on the phone. So, yeah, should be fine. I'm sure it'll all come back to me. All right, I'll say goodbye. Oh, isn't it just beautiful? I will link the lady's shop. I think it's like Staying Wild or something like that in the description below. Check out her Instagram page. When new pieces come in, I think she said they release pieces every 2 weeks, just for eye candy. If you never come across it and you never own a piece of their clothing, but just have a good look at it, because it is very much a slow stitch. And they put together beautiful combinations of colours, and it's just so our world. All right, I will say goodbye. Gosh, I can't believe I rabbited on for 54 minutes. All right, I'm going to probably wobble the camera now because, as I said, my phone is suspended by string. So I'm going to attempt to press the off button and toddle off for the day. We'll see you later. Bye, guys.